Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back. Last episode, we had just discovered our maximum amount of logs, so this big old pile we got here is our absolute maximum. We cannot put any more here without the frame rate going, but that is still an incredible amount of logs. Compared to FS22, that's lots. So it's going to be fun loading that up, but I'm not loading yet. I'm still just holding off. I like to savor the loading, you know? I just like to hang on to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lock this up. I'm going to start a new deck over here. So this is actually going to be a good test to see how many logs we can have on the ground in general. I'm pretty far away from that pile, so I don't think I'll trigger it to slow us down here. Man, that's just a lot of logs. I can't get over that. It's definitely more than 22. It's got to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start a roadside deck over here somewhere, I think. Since this is our main road, I think I'll just start perlunking it down like right here somewhere. No rhyme, no reason. We're just going for it. We'll turn our lights on there to keep everything nice and sprucey. Okay, so we're just going to throw these down right in this little area here. And we'll start a new deck. So, I mean, if we can leave decks that big all over the place, oh man, we're going to have some real silly fun. And then as we get further towards the end of our line there that we're driving up and down, I'll start building the decks a little bit further every time. Or like a little bit further out so we don't have to drive back quite as far. Oop. It's a little hung up there. There we go. I didn't kerplunk these into the carriage very nicely. They're kind of all over the place here. I could pencil them up and stuff, but I'll do that with the loader. I'm way better at it with the loader. I can do it with this, but it's just not quite the same. So we'll slip that in there. Whoop. Oh no. No, don't fall out of there. Why you gotta be like that? So yeah, oh man, I had something for topic and I can't remember what it was now. I should write this stuff down before I record these. Oh well, it's gone now. It's gone in the great memory of I'll think of it like right after I'm done recording. Oh right, I was supposed to talk about that. That's okay. I'm just kind of playing anyway. I don't really care. At this point, I'm just enjoying the playing experience because it's kind of like testing for me. It gives me a reason to not just have fun. I actually have a purpose. I'm recording these videos, which turns it into free testing time. And we're getting a result of you guys watching the videos after. So it works out. Everybody wins. Win, win, win. Oh, there's a good one. Oh, we got them all. Look at that. Oh, it's because we got that nice couple big ones on the bottom there. Bloop. Not a super great pile. Okay, so I'm not going to stuck in the forwarder all day because we did that last episode. So let's change it up. Let's. No bunching yet. We still got so many trees. Oh, let's process for a bit. Because I never process, ever. And I have no idea where I am, so we're just going to figure this out as we go. This way. There we go. That was easy. Down the road. So we've been doing short logs. I was going to switch over to long logs eventually, but we're not quite there yet. I'm actually just going to process this pile backwards. I'm going to do a little bit of processing, and then I'm going to keep road building. Because now that we've cleared up a lot of those trees off the road with the forwarder, I'll have a lot more road I can go chip away at with our grinder. So I actually really enjoyed that. Raking the road with the grinder feels pretty destructive, and I think that's what I really enjoy about it. You're just ripping it up. And processing backwards is just annoying, but here we go. I'm not a super great backwards processor operator, but sometimes that's just the way it is. Sometimes you're in a weird spot. And it's going to be easier to do it backwards than it is to do it forwards. I'm just definitely not as smooth doing it, that's for sure. There we go. Oh. Not really where I wanted it to go, but that's okay. That's why we have a forwarder, right? We'll pick it all up. I should be spacing it out better instead of leaving it in these piles like this, because the more I space it out, the easier it is to pick up when they're in these clobbery piles like this. As you saw in our earlier forwarding episodes, it's harder to pick up these bunches when they're all stuck together, because then they're just kind of jarred together. When you get a little smaller grouping, it's just easier. But that's okay. We'll deck it up and see what happens. So we'll clean up. Well, we're almost at the buncher, actually. We're pretty much caught up here. So won't be too much of a struggle. I'm going to kind of block off our road a little bit. These buncher piles are left really terribly. That's also kind of part of the challenge for myself here, because they were just for testing. All I was doing was just running through, knocking them down, and really not even paying attention to where I was dropping them. I was just dropping them to test the cut nodes on the buncher and to test the scoop of it all. So this is kind of fun because now we get to challenge ourselves to clean up our mess and see how nice of a job we can do of cleaning it up. I think that one little tops went right through the ground. And that sure saved time if you just shot your tops and they just fell through the ground into infinity and deleted themselves. But then there would be no fun cleanup job. One thing I would like to get into is chippers and grinders. That's a challenge I was going to partake in FS22, but I just didn't get around to it. So this game, I would love to be able to make chippers and grinders. So we'll see. I, again, will never make promises until I have an actual product that's working, but I definitely think I have the know-how. I just need to put it into perspective and make it work. We have a lot of stuff on the project list before we get into that, so might be a little while. Oh, I love the look of these birch trees. Some sections of the forest in this game, well, you guys have probably seen pictures that I've put out and teased and used, but man, some of the frickin' birch forest areas are just so frickin' pretty. So I have plans for future maps and stuff. Like I said, this map I spent a lot of time on, so I'm not gonna try to downplay this map at all. But this is my first map, so it'll only go up from here improvement-wise in detail. I felt I didn't rush this map, but I definitely wanted to get it done so that we'd have a good starter map for the release date. I think it turned out awesome. Like, I really do. So I'm not downplaying the greatness of this map. I think it's a really beautiful map. But I do have ideas and plans for future maps and future stuff to kind of get that sorted. I'm going to put this on this side of the road here. I have a little pile off the side here, because I have some pretty cool ideas for some deciduous foresty kind of areas. And deciduous is like, I guess you could say aspen, poplar, birchy kind of terrain. So up here we have areas that are full, like where I live, it's like you have areas full of, spruce and pine and hemlock, and those are like considered the gravy trees of, they're very harvestable and, worth money. And then you have kind of the deciduous types of trees, which are more like the crappy cottonwoods and the, the poplar and kind of the, I guess our poplar, trembling aspen, whatever you want to call it. Those kind of areas are a little less valuable, but they still look really neat. So I had some ideas for some really nice areas that I want to clone from up here that we have. So it might be in future maps, or maybe in the next map that we have that. Also, you could probably do some nice swamp logging areas and that kind of stuff too. I think with the new mud and the new guts, I think we could probably do some pretty cool stuff with that. So all in good time. And I'm just going to build this little pile over here. And like I said, we're pretty much almost caught up to this buncher now, which I didn't think was ever going to happen. I didn't even plan on playing on this map, on this save. I was like, we'll just let it die. Screw it. And then I was like, well, you know what? Why don't we kick off the FDR logging series right here, and we'll just keep going. You guys didn't get to see the initial rip into the land with the buncher kind of thing, but oh, don't you worry, we'll get lots of buncher action. This is very much a forwarding block that we've built here, so I really do need to get a section where we actually cut block it properly and do some skidding and decking and all that fun stuff that comes along with it. And we will, don't you worry. So I'm going to try to build a little deck up on this hill here. See if we can shoot this off over here somewhere. Boop. And then these are those beech trees. I still call them alder, but I guess beechwood. I don't know. I like the texture on them. They look just like a poplar tree, like a trembling aspen that we have up here in BC. Maybe they're a little darker than our versions of those, but very similar style to a poplar. Obviously, these are more gray. Our poplar are a little bit more white for sure, but I can get one more out of this. Screw it. We'll cut it one more time. And these aspen trees here look like that. You know what I could do too is I could also brighten up the alder. That's kind of one cool bonus I have to doing the map making is I can play with the textures a bit. I can bring them out and Photoshop the textures and make them less bright. That's actually what I've done with the trees. I don't know if anybody actually noticed that or not, but the in-game lodgepole pine are very, 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 very white. So actually here, I wonder if I can do a purchase thing, because we have our trees on here. No, not that one. A lodgepole. There you go. So you see how white that lodgepole pine is compared to mine? So this one here that I'm circling is the one that I put in the game. So I went into Photoshop and I darkened the texture just to give them a little bit. But these are the white ones. Like they're super bright in comparison. And as you can see, mine are quite dark when comparing them next to each other. But I really do prefer that kind of a darker wood look, because maybe in other countries you get that really white stuff, but in BC most of our wood is very dark or kind of a red, like, you know, you get the spruce and pine. It's a very darker colored bark instead of that really light stuff. Oops, oh my goodness, pushing my buttons too hard here. A nice little pile there. Okay, this is our last deck, I think. Oh, there's one above the skidder, but this will be the last one I'm processing on this episode, and then we're going to go and do some road grinding for a little bit here. Finish up the episode on that. So yeah, there's stuff I could do to the trees themselves that makes the, you know, changes the look of the forests in general. I find if you got a lot of the really brighter trees, it doesn't quite look... Again, this is my limited experience, obviously, from my own country. You know, like I haven't been in forests in a lot of other countries. Most of the stuff I see up here is very similar. We get that kind of interior type wood with kind of a mixture of maybe a little bit of coastal stuff in there, but mostly interior grade wood, which is the kind of spruce and the pines and that kind of stuff. And then you get more coastal, you get more into kind of like the cedar and the hemlock. But things like beechwood, you don't see that up here. I don't know, some of the stuff in the menu there, you know, you don't see that. Walnut, I mean, if we do have it, it's probably not here that I've seen it. At least not harvesting. But I've definitely seen some photos from other countries like Lithuania. Lithuania has some really interesting logging sections there. They have... I don't know if it's like a golden spruce. It's like a really large, really golden colored trees in their forests. But man, beautiful freaking forest there. And then you go to places like New Zealand where they have... geez, what kind of trees do they got there? It's like a really yellowy kind of bark tree. I'm sure somebody from New Zealand will post in the comments what kind of trees they are, but definitely different. Different looking stuff. But everything seems to be a version of a tree. Everywhere you go in the world. It's only so many breeds. But yeah, this forest here, like just looking across even while I'm processing here, totally reminds me of some of the cut blocks I saw as a child growing up, because we used to spend a lot of time marching around cut blocks in the woods when I was little. And this definitely totally reminds me of some of the cut blocks. Oh, was our tail end of the tree stuck in the ground? Oh no, it popped out. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'll have definitely lots of ability to play with the trees and create kind of my own styles of forests and my own styles of flora and fauna to kind of blend with it. And I mean, this is only using so much of the terrain types. There's multiple terrain types. Like there's deep colored mosses and, you know, different kinds of leaves and ground types. So I kept myself pretty basic in terms of how I built this map. I didn't want to use every texture, obviously, because I want space to play with and make different arts and canvases on other maps, if you want to put it in that kind of a way. Oops. Oh my goodness. And this is why, people, you don't forget to turn super strength off. Holy Lord, that scared the crap out of me. So if you go in here and type STRENGTH, there you go. So super strength. If you do that, a lot of times I get out of the machine, I accidentally click or I'm holding down the mouse, and it just drags my machine into the ground. So look at this. We actually cut a lot of freaking wood. That's good. So let's go to Mr. Grinder here. The last time we used this, we were demonstrating how it grinds the ground. So now we're going to go back to our road building exercise here. Clean up some of these stumps. And we're just going to build a little thick little road out here. I think like 2 passes like this should be good. I don't really need it to go much more than that. But yeah, you can kind of throw your material around a little bit, or at least it looks like you are. With all that mud coming off of the grinder, that's what kind of gives it that really cool effect, like it's almost like you're sanding the road with dirt. I don't know, I really like it. I think it's a fun effect. I specifically put that activation node really low to the ground. So like I said, it activates really high. So like I'm like this high up and it's starting to create mud, or maybe a little bit lower on the ground. That's also because when it throws it, it almost looks like the mud is being thrown onto the ground and cutting the road, which I think is freaking sweet. I don't know, I love that look. So some people might think that looks glitchy, but I think it looks cool as hell. And when you're sitting here doing this all day, it's like, I want it to look good. I want it to look sweet. So that's why I did it. In case there was some soul out there wondering what I was up to. But I mean, this I could do for days. It's very OCD fulfilling, like satisfying. If you're an OCD person, it's like you have to just kind of crawl through and chop up the block and do your thing. So we're going to create this road out here, and then we're going to start a cut block pretty much where the buncher is right now, I think. We'll just have this really long logging road that we have out in Funland here. And just keep the party rolling. Whew. Oh, excuse me. Just keep on grinding. But yeah, like this effect is all part of the new ground terrain, all part of that kind of stuff, which you couldn't really get as nice of effect in FS22. And with the lighting and stuff, like I said, I posted a picture and I did a comparison showing the lighting of one of my old machines to the new machine. So it was the Cat 558, and I basically just showed a picture of the Cat 558 from FS22 and then a picture of it in FS25. And in my opinion, it is like night and day difference for the lighting and the graphics. Like it looks incredibly better, just incredibly better. So, that kind of comparison with the lighting is why doing this kind of stuff looks so good, because that lighting is playing into a huge factor of how flat the terrain is and the way the light hits it, and it gives it that realistic, or way more realistic vibe than you got from FS22. In FS22, I would run around a machine like in camera mode, basically going, oh man, I really want to get a good shot of this. What's the best angle that the machine doesn't look like a big bubble wrapped mess of crap and too shiny and ugly jaggy edges, right? In this game, it's hard to find an angle that it looks bad, which is awesome because everything just looks way better, right? But it's very, very rare for me to find an angle that doesn't look super great. Like anywhere I look on this machine from the outside, like that angle looks really good. That angle looks like, the lighting wise, it's not too dark, it's not too anything. Like every angle, I could take a picture of this machine and it wouldn't look like, it would look, you know, good. And that's a huge play-in factor for me when it comes to having better machinery in this lighting and taking pictures. Like I said, I used to be a photographer. I've said that multiple times on here, I think. But for anybody who didn't know, as of this episode, I used to be a photographer. And I love taking pictures and getting different camera angles and different zooms, and I love doing that stuff. It's fun. So in this game, I basically just have become like addicted to taking pictures now because, man, you can get some stellar shots, like stellar shots while you're working. And in FS22, you could get some nice shots, but you really had to work at it. Like it wasn't easy getting good shots. But now, like I said, the machine's got some better ambient occlusion look to them and some better shadowing and better lighting. So overall, it's actually just a lot better. Man, this is fun. And like I said, it kind of creates like a nice, thick, meaty road all the way back. And I just love that it carves it out on the map as we go. Creates this big splattery mess of a road. I don't know. Could just be a me thing, but I'm really just having way too much fun with it. Newly discovered features, hey? Oh, why do we need to... Let's just create a straight through here. Why do it got to be all windy? I think it was just because when I was driving the skidder, I was just doing like an S pattern to test out the brush cutter here. So that's why the S's are kind of all over the place, but I'm going to just be snipping right through it. Just snipping right through it here. Could probably clean up some of these too while we're over here. Get the goodies. Good enough. Don't have to get them all. Just, you know, if they're in a big pile, might as well hit them while we're here. And now we're almost caught up to our forwarder pile here, because I can see the logs reappearing ahead. So let's see if we can make it up to there at least. I love how it just leaves those gouges from the plow, and then when you backblade, it kind of like fills them, and then some of them fill and some of them don't. It's like I said, it's just that really gritty, kind of like messy, looks like just shitty mud. Shitty mud, that's what we'll call it. The great shitty mud. All right, and we're almost up here, and then I think we'll call it once we get our grinder right up there. But yeah, pretty cool. Map lighting, good times. Lots of cool stuff that's gonna come out of this. Lots of extra goodies. Again, with that mud texture, it makes it look like I'm just spraying mud everywhere, and I just... I don't know why that's so sweet. It just is. I just love that. Just frickin' love it. I might even increase the amount that mud drop comes down, just so it's going further into the dirt. We'll see. Just digging out a mud. Now, what would the next step they could do is actually make it so you can, like, dig into the ground, like, you know, like actually get stuck mud runner style. That'd be sick. So if I could get like stuck in this stuff with a truck and have to like winch our way through it kind of thing, that'd be pretty cool. then the episodes would be like 80 minutes long, trying to unwinch or unclip yourself from the ground. And then we'll get a little bit on this edge here, because the forwarder's probably going to come through here, I would imagine. I'll be driving it, so I guess I'll have to make that decision, but let's see here. We'll get this tree out of the way here. See, and I can just make that decision because we have a giant grinder, so we can just say, you know what, I don't like this tree. Bye, tree. That one's doing the you spin me right round, baby. Look at that thing. Dun, 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 dun. I'll get copyright strike for making that sound. I take that as a compliment more than anything, I think. And we'll just kind of do a quick grind through here. I'm actually just OCD, like, addicted to this right now. It is just so much fun grinding this ground. I'll get to this little L and then I'll stop, I promise. Yeah, right. We'll just keep going for 3 or 4 more hours and then we'll be set. Whoop. Okay, I'll get right to this side and that's what I'll call it. I just have that stump that's right on my, right off the front of me that I've been staring at that I want to get to. And that's OCD kicking in. It's like, you gotta get to that stump before you quit. All right, this stump right here was the target. Ah, there we go. Feel better now. Probably cut this corner right out. We'll park it right here. Sweet. So look at that. We grilled out this nasty little road all the way back and around. Like I said, we got, this is kind of where the starting of the forwarder pile starts again. And then we kind of looped around the edge. How much further we got? Oh, not far. We actually did quite a bit of distance there. So we started right here where our little stick out was. So we did all that distance plus processing. Not bad. All in 27 minutes time. Alrighty, okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. When we come back in the next episode, we'll probably start forwarding again. Maybe we'll do some loading. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, it's always a mystery. All right, guys, we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.